remark like, oh, I like listening to you. You always encourage me, but this sounds like, a defeated ICT. It's not a defeated ICT. It's a wise ICT. I've learned this painfully. And some of you don't want to learn this lesson. Some of you want to ignore it. You want to just block that out. Just tell me when it works really good. I want to know that. Give me the good order blocks, the good fair value gaps. Tell me the ones that stay open. But you don't want to listen to stuff like this. And this is the stuff that keeps you in the game because you're going to do it wrong. You're not going to listen to these lectures and these discussions and know that these are the problem areas in the marketplace and they're going to hurt you. And you won't be in the game long enough to weather the normal ebb and flow of ups and downs in your equity curve because you're starting out. And you want to be a rocket. Here you are on a launching pad. You just started learning ICT concepts or whatever. Maybe some of you are going to leave what I'm teaching. That's fine. Go ahead. I wish you luck anyway. And you're going to do something else. But you're going to have that same expectation. You're now a rocket on a launching pad. And now, because you sat down and you decided to give your time and attention to something else to learn how to do in trading, it owes you something. The market owes you something because you've studied, you've watched some things. So you're entitled to what? You're entitled to shit. And a lot of you won't like the taste of it because it's reality. And you're going to see on these days, you can't make money. You can't. Not consistently, not with any edge that's measurable or repeating. You will lose. And because you will blow your account, you're going to say everything you learned, which had no place in the day like today, was fake, flawed, it doesn't work, all the logic doesn't work. And that's frustration. That's all that is. That's not truth. That's not application of the concepts in the right conditions. Because if you read the fine print with ICT, it says we don't trade on these days because we don't expect the precision to be there. But you see folks out there looking for order blocks and complaining about how this doesn't work because you're trying to do what? You're trying to make a wedding cake out of mud. Think about that. Like you're trying to take something out of a environment like swamp water. You want to bathe in that? Because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to do something with something that is not likely to even come close to the result you're trying to get. Because the environment is not conducive for you to be successful. It's not designed for that. So if you can be mature enough as an adult, and hopefully we're all adults here, you have to respect the measure of underlying risk. And one of the best tenets to a successful, consistently profitable trader is they are number one, respecting of risk, knowing that the first tenet to successful trading is preserving capital, not how much you can make. How much can I lose on this trade? And what can I afford to lose? And don't say because it's 2%, I can afford to lose that, because 2% for some of you is too much emotionally and psychologically. You're looking at these funded accounts and you're thinking, I'm going to get me a $300,000 account. I'm going to roll up all these accounts. I'm going to get $1 million funded. Okay. So you're saying that you're going to be comfortable with losing 20,000? No, you're not. You're not. You're going to lose your mind. Okay. So there's two stages to understanding money management and risk management. You have to know what your account can afford to take as a loss. And then you have to test that theory psychologically and emotionally within yourself. And many of my students and other people out there have done this too. They have discovered that, hey, you know what? 2%, I can't do that. That's too much. And they go down to 1/4%. What? You can't make money. Look, 1/4%, you don't need a job. Because if you're consistently able to take that 0.25% risk, and you're trading with 5 times that. Do the math on any of those funded accounts. See, that's the problem with Have It Your Way mentorships and dollar menu mentors. They go out there and they show you this stuff that they're not doing. They'll show you stuff. Oh, well, you can take this order block. Here's a trade. And you listen to these cats and say, yeah, I took a trade. I think I took a trade. I think I got in here. I don't know where they're from, but if they took the trade, all they have to do is show exactly where they got in at. That's how you know you're listening to a liar. With me, you see my executions. You see exactly where I'm getting in. You see the price. You see my stop. You see when I'm managing it. You see where I'm expecting it to go. And there it is. That's someone that's been doing it and has been doing it for a long, long time and has no problem showing you this is what it looks like. But you can't take risk management and money management and just say, okay, I learned this from that video. I learned this from this person. They said this is what they do. So I mean, it's applicable to me. It's not. It's not. So my advice for you, if you're trying to do these funded accounts this year, or maybe, you probably already done this and you know exactly where I'm going with it. Once you get funded, do the least. Because especially if you're new, you don't know how you're going to be impulsive on days like this and other days that you didn't check the economic calendar. Another central tenet to someone that's a professional: they will not touch the market without knowing what the economic calendar is. Yep. That is the number one tenet to knowing what not to do. Think about it. When we get into the wintertime and you see it's cloudy and such, weather drops real sudden, and you're in areas where snow is likely to happen. What do? Let me see. Expecting snow. The old hats, we can smell it, just like the rain too in the warmer months. You can smell it coming. We've been around long enough. But young folks, they only see and engage with what's right in front of their face at the moment. Right now, they have short-sightedness. They can only see right in front of them. And you have to make sure that you're planning ahead. You got to project the likely scenario for you to succeed, but also compensate along the way for detours that's going to be required that you didn't foresee. And some of those are going to be uncomfortable because you want to be like your teachers, your heroes. You want to do exactly what they did. And I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to do what I'm doing because you don't know what's going on in my brain at the time when I'm looking at price. None of my students can replicate what I'm doing. They can trade with my concepts and be profitable, but they can't do exactly what you see me doing at the moment. I'm doing it exactly why I'm doing it. Why am I taking a partial at that price? Why did I wait for this to do that? See, you can just read it in the comment sections of the Twitter and or on the videos. How did he know? And some of these people are students with me for a long time. And they know my stuff. But because I know what I'm trying to capture in the marketplace, and it might evolve as the market starts moving, I'm thinking, okay, I didn't expect that to present another opportunity to go more time in. So now I'll add more to it there when I didn't expect to see it when the trade first started. So you're not going to know what's inside my internal dialogue that's going on constantly. And all that's changing and evolving every time a 1 minute candle's painting. And that's one of the things you're going to discover in February when we start doing live sessions. As I'm talking about the 1 and 5 minute candles, the weak individuals here that don't want to learn how to do this, that only want signals, they only want to learn a bias so they can go and push their buttons and hopefully get something correct and make some money, you're going to fail because you're going to miss the opportunity of knowing what it looks like to read every single candle from somebody that knows how to do it. And when to not expect it to work, because you have to know, where is it likely that you're going to have your face torn off? You're going to lose a limb. blow an account, get mad because you did something silly and it was a small loss, and you go back and try to get it back, and that becomes another loss. And then you do what? You push and you push and you push until you don't have your account anymore. All of that is absolutely avoidable. How's it avoidable? By knowing what I'm talking about right here. I'm telling you, these are the very days that starts that whole loser cycle where you get your account taken from you if you're funded, or you blow it. If it's real, yours, your funds, your money, it's gone because you lost it. You pissed it away doing stupid stuff, not sticking to number one rule: preserve capital. How do you preserve capital? Know where it's likely to cause you loss. If there is no advantage, if there is no odds in your favor, it's one-sided, like so overly in your favor to do well. And some of you are so new, you don't know what that means. That's what I classify as a low resistance liquidity run. You can't frame that on days like this. 30 years, I've only had a handful of opportunities where it panned out for me. I was correct. I've really considered writing 5 books. The 5th book is everything not to do in trading. Nobody's buying that book. I mean, they probably will because of more of a curiosity and my name's attached to it. But think about it. You wouldn't likely see that as a New York's bestseller. But I wish I had this before I opened up my first account with Fox Investments as a trader in 1992. I wish I would have known these things